So, Kyle, why don't we begin the tour? Is the drone inside?
Yeah, we got it inside here.
All right, why don't you take your laptop and show us the drone and talk a little bit about what you saw as far as plant reaction when you applied Michael's solution.
Okay. Well, first thing with Michael's solution, I just want to touch base. We tried it on tomatoes, and we would have regular and then we'd just take a mister and spray it on there. And it budded, I think, 45 buds, and just the regular generic had 15. So that's when he started to figure out that there's something there, and then that's when we got to this drone, and I'll show you and that's why I use Michael's solution like all the time, because I'm a firm believer. I seen it with my eyes. It works like nothing other.
How many applications did you do last year of Michael's solution?
Two with the drone, and then one with the
broadcast spray.
Yeah, broadcast. Yeah.
Yeah, we did one right about mid-July, and then about the last time we get out into the fields with a tractor, and then we went back out with the drone once the corn got too tall to get out there with the tractor.
Mm-hmm. And that expense is in his expense sheet. The price of this stuff is super cheap because you're buying it in bulk. Again, it's not being prepared for you by a fertilizer company. You're buying the inputs. So they're super fucking cheap. All right, go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, man, I need this thing. I don't know how to pop that thing off. All right, that's the little guy we got. We're gonna try and get the bigger one. We both took our FFA licenses and everything else, but we wanted to test it out before we really got at it. So this only did. How much is this one? You can talk on it.
Yeah, it's the smallest one that they released or got out on the market right now. It's very low output. It's very slow. I want to say we were spraying about 16 feet per second. It was calling. Bigger one, I believe we can spray up to like 24 feet per second, if I remember right. It's almost double to triple the carrying capacity with the liquid. In this one field, it was down and back. We were landing, refilling the tank, and then back out. So the bigger one, we were able to go out for twice as long. Bigger batteries, bigger tank. It's just going to be an all-around better system to get back out when the corn gets too tall and we can't get out there with the big broadcast sprayer.
And again, this is for foliar applications. And we all know foliar is saving the plant ATP, which is its energy currency. So that means it doesn't have to leak out exudates to grow more bacteria, to have then uptake the nutrients that the bacteria is released. So again, you're going to get more plant production because it's not going to be wasting as much energy supporting the biologicals down below. So huge advantage. Is there anything else you wanted to say about that drone or application methods, Robbie?
The other nice thing we've noticed with this drone is the downforce that it has between the four propellers. It will take and spread the corn apart, the corn stalks apart, and you can see the mist of it. It actually like flows down into the corn and just circles. So it's not just hitting the top of the leaves, it's hitting the bottom of the leaves. It's hitting, the whole stalk everywhere, top and bottom of the leaves. It's getting down to the ground. We made a test pass with just some water. Kyle walked out in the field and he said he could feel a nice strong mist coming off of it. We were flying, I want to say about 2 foot above the corn. I want to say we had about 7 feet off the ground throughout the field, and it just the downforce that thing has pushing that liquids down. It was just crazy to watch. Right in the sunsets, you could just see that mist just circle around it, and then you just watch this stuff settle down in, and the coverage was amazing we had with it.
So again, the advantage of foliar spraying, where you're getting the bottom of the leaves and the tops. If anyone's tried to foliar feed, it's a nightmare trying to get on the bottom side of the leaves. So that's, again, the power of this piece of equipment. And Michael was the one that told Kyle he could do this. And so, again, he was a huge inspiration in Kyle's willingness to jump off the cliff and pray to God the water was deep enough. Why aren't you laughing, Kyle?
You can hear me. That was a long jump. I tell you what, I was praying there was water.
All right, so let's bounce on. Why don't you spin it around and show the audience the next round of equipment that you've installed.
Again.
So that top sink is going to be used as it's a stainless steel sink with a wooden box with a stainless steel screen and a concrete vibrator. And what he's going to be doing is putting compost in there and washing it through the screen to get it ready to be put into the next level of machine. Below it is what's called a gravity settler. So there's a thing that's called remineralization, and Keith can speak on days on this. What happens when you have high biological demand is that it's stripping all of these components, and it actually reforms biological sand, clay. I haven't seen silt, but I've seen sand and clay. This is a prime example of this is when I would throw feed into my fish tank, and then I'd settle out the solids to making my own product like Keith's. I'd always get a tremendous amount of sand in there. And it took me a while to figure out, well, wait a minute, where's the sand coming from? I'm only putting in water and feed, and there is no sand in my feed. So it's called a biogeochemical reaction. And it's complex as all hell. We don't have a lot of science on it. It's happening, nano time. So it's, again, super complex. Don't have the instruments yet available to really suss out why it's happening and whether that sand, because it was biogeochemically created, perhaps is more available in silica as well. But, as things suss out, we'll get more and more information. So it was important to settle out any of the grit so that when it goes up into the machine process, you're only getting biologicals out. You're only getting organic matter that's coated with these bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, etc., and spores. That's another thing that Keith didn't say. He's got a tremendous amount of spores in his products as well. So that's another huge advantage.